Maximize Business Value podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Mastery Partners, where our mission is to equip business owners to maximize business value so they can transition their business on their terms. Our mission was born from the lessons we've learned from over 100 business transactions, which fuels our desire to share our experiences and wisdom so you can succeed. Now here's your host, CEO of Mastery Partners, Tom Bronson.
Hi, this is Tom Bronson, and welcome to Maximize Business Value, a podcast for business owners who are passionate about building long-term sustainable value in your business. Last week, we started a mini-series on why every business owner should make exit planning a priority and why you should start working on it today. We continue that series now. As investor and entrepreneurial icon Carl Allen would say, the only reason to have a business is to sell it and get paid for it. And I agree. Look, as a business owner, you should always be thinking about your next big move. The simple fact of the matter is that a solid plan to exit gives you some control over your small business's future. Think about it. A solid exit strategy prevents most of the failed attempts to exit. But more than that, a well-designed exit strategy is just good business strategy. It's a guidepost for effective decision-making in your business. When you're faced with a strategic decision, if that decision does not increase the value of your business, according to your exit strategy, you should simply not do it. Now, that doesn't mean that the additional value needs to be immediate. Some strategies take a seriously long time to realize value. But if you can't articulate that value and how it impacts your enterprise value, just don't do it. According to the State of Owner Readiness survey published by the Exit Planning Institute, 74% of business owners have no exit plan. And if you're like most business owners and you don't have a strategy, a default strategy will ultimately become evident and probably not in a positive way. In fact, according to that EPI study, a full 50% of business transitions are not voluntary. Let me repeat that. Half of the business transitions are not by choice. It's because something happened that forced a transition. One of my mentors used to tell me that if you don't have an exit strategy, then by default, your strategy is to just die behind your desk and leave the problem for your family and employees to deal with, which is, of course, awesome, right? While that might sound harsh, it is the reality. We've all heard stories of businesses that are forced to liquidate, fire sale, or close their doors because of some disaster, probably one of the 5 Ds: death, disability, divorce, distress, and disagreement, or the countless other risks that business owners don't like to think or talk about. By the way, if you want to learn more about those risks, download our ebook, Hidden Risks, right on our website, masterypartners.com, in the free stuff section. Here are a couple of real life situations that I witnessed firsthand. The owner suddenly died and left the business to his spouse or children who've never worked in the business but need the cash from the business in order to live. That's a disaster. Another one, the largest customer suddenly gives notice and leaves for a competitor, and it was 50% of the business. Certainly, potentially an involuntary business transition here. Another one, the market suddenly changes and the company failed to adapt, so the sales are on a death spiral. The owner finally realizes that it's time to sell, but not before it's too late. Probably is too late. Well, these are nasty scenarios. They happen all too frequently. And I'm betting that you've heard at least one story like this, probably many more. So knowing that, one, we've all heard at least one story like this, and two, the most common denominator for those few companies that actually successfully exit their business is having a solid plan to do so. Why is it that 74% of business owners have no exit strategy at all? In talking with literally thousands of business owners, the reasons can be boiled down to three major things. First, an exit is a once-in-a-lifetime event. When it's time to exit, most business owners probably have never been through it before, so it becomes a classic, I don't know what I don't know scenario. Although they probably occasionally dream about some future exit, they just don't know where to start and therefore fail to actually do so. Second, the personal life of most business owners, or many business owners, is totally intertwined with the business. They can't even fathom what they'll do when they're no longer working in the business. These owners haven't dedicated time to thinking about what they'll do in the third act of their lives, so they just delay the inevitable. They think to themselves, what the hell am I going to do after I sell this thing? Golf every day? I don't think so. So they push it off and push it off until it's too late. Third, most business owners are afraid of the word exit. They think it's a four-letter word. Why is it that business owners think that exit is a nasty little four-letter word? Let's explore a few possible reasons I've heard through the years and that might be rolling around in your head right now. Most business owners conjure up negative thoughts around the word exit. To them, it brings images of abandoning the business and the people that have sometimes spent the better part of their lives building. They think some uncaring, huge corporate entity taking them over and destroying what they've meticulously built over the years. Business owners think of losing the culture and the friendships that they've built through the years. They think of losing a sense of purpose and reason to get up in the morning. They think about the customers and the employees who might get angry because they were sold out. They've heard horror stories of former business owners who regret selling their business. Look, a properly executed exit strategy actually helps prevent these three catastrophes. And the term exit should be taken as a neutral term. If it makes you feel better about the process, call it something else like transition or transaction or succession. The simple fact of the matter is that exit strategy is good business strategy. Yes, it's not easy. Few really good things are very easy to do, but the long-term benefits make it definitely worthwhile. Next week, we're going to the Exit Strategy Court, and I'm going to present the case for exit planning and give you my closing arguments. You definitely don't want to miss that episode. This is the Maximize Business Value podcast, where we give practical advice to business owners on how to build long-term sustainable value in your business. Be sure to tune in each week, follow us wherever you found this podcast, and give us a comment or two or a suggestion for a future podcast. Until next time, I'm Tom Bronson, reminding you to start working on your exit plan today while you maximize business value.
Thank you for tuning in to the Maximize Business Value podcast with Tom Bronson. This podcast is brought to you by Mastery Partners, where our mission is to equip business owners to maximize business value so they can transition on their terms. Learn more on how to build long-term sustainable business value and get free value-building tools by visiting our website, www.masterypartners.com. That's master with a Y, masterypartners.com. Check it out.
That was perfect. make any changes on that.